Hey everyone, it's Lindsay and welcome to our DIY Dutch Colonial. If you want to join us on this adventure, please make sure that you subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any future videos. So in today's video, to kick off 2022, we are going to organize and declutter our bathroom cabinets. We're going to do so without spending any money, so that's the best part. And I have 10 money-saving tips for you that I'm going to share throughout the video, so stay tuned. So let's dive into the tips. So tip number one is to take a before picture before you start the project and then an after picture when you are done. And this sounds super simple, but I always forget to take really good before pictures, and then I can't remember the progress that I've made or how big of an impact that I've made with my time and decluttering or makeovers because I forgot to take a good before picture. So having a good before picture can really help you to see how much progress you've made. So tip number two is to take everything out of the cabinets or whatever space you're organizing and just give it a deep clean. There is no better time to clean everything than when it's cleared out of all of your stuff. It's also really hard to organize things when you're just like shuffling things back and forth between shelves or whatever space you're working in. It's just easier to take everything out and then put everything back in that you want to keep. It's just easier to see everything all at once. And this cleaning tip may also seem super obvious, but I am not like a natural cleaner. I like to have clean things. I appreciate when a space is clean, but I tend to forget to clean things or keep things clean, and so I need that reminder. So tip number three is to throw away expired items. And even if it's gonna expire in a month and it's still good for a month, I would say to throw it away. If you need it, you can run to the store and get a new one that's going to last for another few years. But what are the chances, be honest, what are the chances that you're gonna come back to whatever space you're doing? So am I gonna come back to this bathroom closet in 1 month to throw away that item that's gonna expire in 1 month? Probably not. It's probably gonna sit there until next year, next December or January when I go through this again. So I'm just gonna throw it away now. Tip number four is to throw away bulky packaging. Toss it, it takes up so much space. I just wanna be able to go in and grab what I need and come back out. So throw away all of the bulky packaging. And then I also find that when people are going in and out of closets and I leave the packaging in there, the packaging just stays in there and it never gets thrown away. So I can just be proactive, throw away the packaging when I'm putting things away. And when it comes to bottles of medicine, like my daughter's like Tylenol, children's Tylenol, throw away the box. You don't need to keep the box. Usually there are instructions on the bottle itself, and if not, you can just Google it. So tip number five is to add items to your shopping list. So if you throw things away and you do want to get a replacement and replenish that item in your closet or your space, add it into your phone or wherever you keep your shopping list. There's no need to go to the store and buy everything all at once. I like to think of the episode of The Big Bang Theory where Sheldon just runs to the store and he's so excited because it's like replenish the medicine cabinet day and he buys all new things. That's expensive. Super expensive. So I would say just add everything to your grocery list, and as you have room in your monthly budget, grab those items, or if a sale pops up, grab those items then. So tip number six is to organize all of your items by type or by category. And that could look different for every single family depending on the systems you have in place or the routines you have in place. So just because you watch my organizing video or someone else's organizing video or see some picture on Pinterest, it doesn't mean that you need to copy those labels and those categories exactly. Really think about how your family functions. So tip number seven, when you're going to put everything back in, I like to keep everything that I use very frequently at eye level or hand level. So it's just like right there in my face. When I open the door, I don't have to scan or take heavy things down from the top and have it like fall on my head. So tip number eight is to minimize duplicates and to prioritize what you really need. If you have a bunch of things or even a few things that you are not going to use or you don't use that often, really evaluate if you want to keep it or not. And if you're having a guilt trip about throwing away something that's perfectly good, you can list it for free on an online site. Someone will be sure to snatch it up very quickly, or you can donate it or pass it along to a friend who can use it. The less stuff that you have, the more space that you'll have and the more time and energy you'll have, because you won't be using all of your time and energy to manage clutter and to reorganize and rearrange clutter and find things. You will just have more time and energy. It's very freeing. So tip number 9 is to label things. So when I was living by myself, I didn't label things. People would comment on my videos and suggest that I label things, but I really didn't have a need to do that because I lived by myself. I remembered where things went and I would put it back. But now that I live in a house with 4 other people, I'm finding the need to label things again. And so I'm finding that labeling does cut down. It doesn't eliminate it, but it does cut down the number of people in my family that come and ask me where something is, and the chances of them putting something back in the right place increase when areas are labeled. So you don't need to go out and buy really expensive, fancy labels. I would recommend doing something cheap or free first. So some examples of free labels could be just blue painter's tape with Sharpie written on it. It comes right off. It doesn't leave any marks. Another tip for a free label is to use a sticky note with Sharpie on it and stick it on. And another suggestion for another free label is to just type out your labels in a Google Doc or a Word document, print it out. And I love to do the cheap laminating technique of clear packing tape and stick it right on top. And so I've used that one a lot in my classroom at school when I was teaching because I hated messing with the laminating machine. But for this project, I am using a label maker because I have one, but I have used all of these other label making techniques in the past. And then if you find that a system works for you and the labels are working and the categories are working, go out and invest in something a little bit nicer. But I would recommend kind of holding off and waiting until you have a system in place that you know for sure works. So my last and final tip is to use free containers. So I use containers that we just found in the basement. After our move, we had a lot of containers that just were not being used anymore, and so I gathered all of the free containers, all of the clear containers that were dirty. So I had to clean them first, but they were free because I was gonna repurpose them. If you don't have nice, clear plastic organizers laying around, I'm sure there are other free containers that you can use. In the past, I have used leftover food containers or recycled food containers. You can also use old shoe boxes or Amazon boxes. Who doesn't have Amazon boxes nowadays? And you can spray paint those. You can cover those in wrapping paper or in fabric to make them a little bit prettier if you want to. Once again, I would suggest using free containers, at least to start with, and if you know and find that a system works for you and your family, then go out and buy nicer containers. I know it can be super tempting. I was scrolling through Pinterest on my phone, getting some ideas for this project, and I really wanted to buy some really pretty clear plastic containers for the cabinet. When I looked them up on Amazon, they were 4 for $40, and they were not large containers, and I just could not justify the cost of that. So I hope these 10 tips were helpful to you and they inspired you and motivated you to tackle a space in your house for free without spending any money. If I left out any tips or you have great ideas to add to this conversation, we can continue that down below in the comments. It is so freeing to get rid of stuff, especially after the holiday season where it's a time of bringing out all these big decorations and getting gifts. It's a very freeing time for me, the time after Christmas and in January, to just kind of pack things away, get rid of things, and to kind of lighten the load in the house. I'm also a visual person, so just seeing less stuff is also very freeing. So happy organizing. Like I said, I hope this inspired you to tackle a space in your home for free, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.